everybody, welcome to the show. I appreciate you tuning in here for another interview. I got a great treat for y'all today on the show. Joining me today is one of my best friends out there. Me and this man got a chance to meet probably about 10 years ago randomly at WrestleMania. And y'all have heard me talk on this show before about how the wrestling and the horror worlds just consistently intersect all over. I swear, like it is absolutely a thing. And in 10 years, we have been to so many wrestling events together, and he is now hosting his own incredible wrestling podcast called Mark It Down. It's the Mark It Down pod, where they discuss the best and the worst of professional wrestling today in WWE, AEW, TNA, ROH, whatever you can think about here. Joining me today, folks, is my main man, James. James, how are you doing today, brother?
I am doing so well because I get to talk to you, my friend.
You and your people are doing amazing with the Mark It Down pod. And I got to ask, we are just coming off the Royal Rumble, which is my favorite wrestling event of the year, bar none there. And how did the show shape up for you there? We happy with Jey Uso and Charlotte Flair walking out our winners there? Did you have something else in mind? Where's your head at here with the Rumble this year?
This is the first year. No, it's totally selfish. I'm so happy for Jey, but it could have been anybody. This is the first year I'm not going to be able to go to WrestleMania. And if John Cena won the 17th World Championship at a Mania I couldn't go to, my life would just have no meaning. Yeah, yep. I'm advocating let Cena's 17th world title be the TNA world title. Just screw everybody and just absolutely throw a curveball. Flair only had like 2 of his world titles be WWE titles. Why does all 17 of Cena's need to be WWE?
I do think karma would work out the right way if Cena wins this belt at the beginning of the show, whatever show it is, whether it's Impact, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, whatever. And by the end of the show, I need him to lose that belt. And do you know who I need him to lose that belt to?
I do. Rey Mysterio.
That's right.
There you go.
Right. All right, folks. So I got James on the show here tonight, and we are both big Scream super fans. And if you haven't been paying attention, the casting announcements have been pretty ridiculous over the last month. Joel McHale has entered the fray here as Sydney's husband. Mark, not Mark Kincaid, but this is who Sydney's husband's going to be. So, James, how did you feel about the Joel McHale casting? Were you a big Scream 3 fan? Were you looking for Patrick Dempsey to come back?
I'm as big a Scream 3 fan as anyone I think could be. I was with everybody when I heard husband Mark, he's coming back. It's happening. Yeah. I'm excited. I love Patrick Dempsey. I'm loving watching him on Dexter right now on the prequel. So good. So it's a bummer in that regard. I was really hoping for him, but Joel McHale is a lot of fun. I think his energy matches the franchise quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So maybe Sydney just loves the name Mark, but beyond that, it's a horror franchise. We have to, suspend some disbelief just a little bit. But I'm happy for Joel, but disappointed about Dempsey.
Where's your mind with this? Does this close the door once and for all on Mark Kincaid? Like everybody says, never say never, but do you reasonably see a way that that Kincaid could show back up in this series now that Sydney's married to a different Mark?
Theoretically, absolutely. I mean, look at Kirby. Kirby came back in a story that had nothing to do with her. She had no connection to the new kids. It really didn't have any connection to Sydney at all or to that story. So if you could do that with her, especially similar, both are in law enforcement. That was how we brought Kirby into it in a way that made sense. Obviously, I think you could do the same with Kincaid.
And, it's crazy because it's not the only Scream 3 casting that we have now, too, as it has been announced officially that Scream 3 star Scott Foley, who played Roman Bridger, the half-brother of Sidney Prescott, is also returning to Scream 7. I'm curious, what's your take on how we're going to see Roman thrown back into the fray here, returning to the Scream franchise? Because last we saw, Roman took a bullet to the head. So where do you see this going with Scott Foley showing back up in the franchise now?
So the day that it was announced, I thought I dreamed it. I thought it wasn't real. I thought it was a medication-induced fever dream. But no, that's real. And it took me a moment to process it because I love Scott Foley. Everything he does, he is superb. But I think there is so much storyline potential for Roman. whether it's via flashback, whether it's via resurrection, whether it's via some alternate methods, which I've been hearing some crazy things online that are just, wow, you guys are so much smarter than I am. I am here for it. I am here for it. The one thing about this franchise is that it's always one step ahead of the times, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
When the first one came out, it was ahead of its time. The second one pushed things forward a little bit. The third one, no one expected the fourth one. All of these films feel so contemporary to the times that they're in and make us realize the times that we're in. Mm-hmm. And I think a return like Scott's fits very well with this era of nostalgia and horror.
This Scott Foley casting is important because we found out it's finally happening, ladies and gentlemen. Folks have been talking about this for decades. Matthew Lillard, Stu Macher himself, is returning for Scream. Finally, there have been talks for decades. I know you have heard them, James, about Stu's orchestrating things from prison. You know, he's in witness protection right now. Everything that's been happening has been Stu doing all this. And look, I love Matthew Lillard. He's amazing. He's an amazing actor. He is great for the horror genre. I love the character of Stu. But if there's one thing in the history of Scream I have not been down with, it's Stu Macher surviving the fucking TV and orchestrating all this from jail. Does not cut the mustard with me at all now. So where are you with this casting, James?
All right. In wrestling, there's a term for fans who just buy everything that's given to them. It's called being a mark. It's called being a mark, and I am a mark. I am 1,000% a mark. I am here as a fan, super excited for Matthew Lillard. I am here as a fan, excited for what this could mean. There are options here. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think he needs to be alive. I don't think that's the route we need to go, because I agree to an extent. If he survives the TV thing, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. It's a tough one. And I think you could do a flashback, because one of the most important details in Scream 3, and therefore in almost the entire Scream franchise, is that Roman is the one to convince Billy and Stu to start everything. No Roman, no Billy and Stu killing spree. Mm-hmm. So if the first time we see, if we're getting Matthew Lillard back in a movie with Scott Foley, maybe we see that interaction for the first time in a flashback. De-age the hell out of them, put a lot of Vaseline on the camera, but like do it. Like, I think that'd be awesome. If you want to, I mean, I don't want to like ruin people's predictions, but something that I think is so prevalent, and I talked about it briefly before, about how Scream is so reflective of the times we're in. One of the biggest fears out in the world right now is AI. One of the biggest fears, one of the biggest concerns moving forward is AI, the use of AI, whether it's audibly or visually. Who's to say that maybe we see them, but they're deep fakes of people? Maybe whoever the real killer is using their images to fuck with Cindy.
Okay.
I think that's very possible. And if you do that, you open the door to so many other former stars to come back.
Do you personally think that sometime in the next week or two, we're going to hear that Emma Roberts is back, that Rory Culkin is coming back, Laurie Metcalf, Timothy Oliphant? Do you think realistically that we stand a good chance of that happening in the next week or two?
I don't think there's ever been an instance where a Scream movie, an upcoming Scream movie, had so much negative attention and so much bad will going forward. Creatively, I think you could take these stunt castings, these things that may have been used to garner goodwill from the fan base, and still really make it work in a creatively satisfying way.
Where do you stand? Like, looking and seeing now that we've moved firmly into the 90s and that everything that we grew up with is now being looked at again and being re-examined for how it's going to get reintroduced into the mainstream.
Look, I was born in 92. I am a 90s kid. I was a 90s baby. 90s is the best era as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of diehard 80s defenders out there, and all the love to you. All the love to you. I don't have a bad thing to say about the 80s, but I love the 90s. And beyond the fact that I'm getting to experience it again, I think we've had, like you said, we're out of the 80s, but we've had some great horror remakes in the last couple of decades that came from the 70s and 80s. And I think as long as they're treated with respect, as long as I think they have the right team behind them, and it's not just being done to be done, why not? If I loved it back then, why can't somebody today love it now? You only get things like that with creative love and respect. So let it happen. Let it keep going.
And what's your favorite then in the franchise? So where do you land at with Scream now?
It changes so frequently, and I think that's I know it's such a cop out answer, but I think it's so true. Yeah, depending on the day, any one of them could be my favorite. I love two. I love two. I love just the energy of two, and I love them saying, we did it the first time, we're doing it again the second time, and watch, we succeeded. I am one of the few people, I don't know, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, maybe I'm with the norm. I love that they killed Randy. I love that they had the balls to kill a main character. Like I miss that character. I wish that Randy was able to continue, and they found creative ways to do it. But I love how daring it was. Because there's that safety with horror franchises. Like, oh, this is one of the main characters. They're going to live. You know, like, and we saw that a lot with 5 and 6. Like, we really did see that with 5 and 6. But Randy was, look at that. And I loved 5 too. I really loved 5. But I'm also a fangirl for Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera. They could do anything and I'll watch it.
I'm with you. I think it's one of the few franchises that has always put down a very strong foot with whatever film they put out. There's something to like in each and every single one of these films. James, this has been great having you on the show, getting to talk a little bit here about the latest and greatest here in Scream. While you got the time, tell us a little bit more about Mark It Down. What are you guys talking about right now, sir?
Well, we are on the road to WrestleMania. The biggest, hottest season of professional wrestling that there is, January to April. We're going through all of it right now. We covered, thank you so well, you covered it early. We covered WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, New Japan. If it's professional wrestling, we talk about it. So we are live pretty much every day of the week. We are live for Monday Night Raw. We are live for NXT. We are live for AEW on Wednesdays. We're live for TNA on Thursdays. So if you like a company that has letters in it, come check us out. We have a lot of fun. We do not take anything seriously. But now my goal, and I spoke to my guys in our super secret top professional group chat, we want you to guest.
Hell yeah.
We would love to have you come on for whatever night of the week you want, whether it's a pay-per-view, a weekly episode, or even just to shoot the shit.
So you can count on that. I'm going to come make an appearance on the Mark It Down pod for sure. That's got to happen. Got to happen.
Awesome.
Well then, folks, that is going to do it for us here tonight. Again, James of the Mark It Down pod, I am so thankful for you to come on and bless this show to talk some Scream here for you. And folks, please make sure that you are subscribing to the Mark It Down pod, as well, as these guys do a tremendous job about talking about everything in the world of wrestling here today, and especially on the road to WrestleMania. This is the kind of talk that you need to get in on right now. You can find them on YouTube and plenty of other channels here. Hit that subscribe button so you can follow along. But that's going to do it for us here tonight, folks. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.